Hello, I'm Lee Austin, one of His Majesty's Inspectors and Ofsted's National Director for Education. The consultation on how we want to improve our education inspections is now open, and we want to hear from you, people working in the sectors we inspect. We want inspection to not only look different, but importantly, to feel different too. While it's crucial that we look at and report on the right things at the right stage of a child's journey through education, it's just as important that we transform how we go about our work, how we interact face to face alongside you. We're proposing to conduct inspections in a way that promotes professional conversation and collaboration, starts with the premise that everyone is working within the legal expectations and professional frameworks expected of them, understands and accounts for the unique context in which you work and have made your decisions, seeks to build a rounded picture of what you do, always seeking to find out what it's typically like to work and learn in your setting, accepts that there will always be some aspects of what you do that are better and more developed than others, and promotes a self-improving system that is inclusive of all and drives high and rising standards. We also want to give parents and carers clear and accessible information about the quality of education their child is accessing. New evaluation areas, a new methodology, and a new education inspection report card all go hand in hand, alongside many other changes that we announced as part of our response to the Big Listen. My colleague, Helen Matthews, who worked with me closely on these changes, is going to tell us a little bit more about what they mean in practice. Hi Helen, can we start by talking through what we hope the proposals will achieve?
We want great outcomes for all children and learners, but particularly those with SEND and those who are disadvantaged. We feel that that's going to sit at the heart really of what this new inspection framework will be all about. And we want clear and accessible reporting for all the people, all the stakeholders that want to find out more information about the providers that we inspect. And we want to build on the positive aspects of our current framework, so focusing on things like the curriculum and early reading, which we know are so important.
That focus on inclusion is great to hear. We know it was one of the main things that people told us about as part of the Big Listen. How are we planning on incorporating it?
Absolutely, Lee. We've put inclusion front and centre of our renewed framework. It's got its own evaluation area and it runs as a theme through all the other evaluation areas. We know how important it is for those with SEND or those who are disadvantaged to have the best possible chance in life and the best possible outcomes. We've got a working definition of what we mean by inclusion, which is within our consultation document.
I know we also want to make sure that we reduce the pressure on providers through our new approach. Can you tell us how we intend to do that?
We want to build on the Big Listen and what we heard in the Big Listen and to try and alleviate some of the pressure that we know is on providers. So, for instance, we've thought long and hard about the type of inspection that we do. So from now on, we will only be doing one type of inspection for schools, though we will continue to do monitoring visits because we feel that's a really good opportunity to see how well leaders have made the necessary improvements. We're no longer going to undertake deep dives, although we will continue to focus on the curriculum. We're going to take far more account of context of a provider, and we want to hear from provider leaders about the context that they find themselves in, but without us lowering our expectations of what children and learners can achieve within that particular provider. We want every provider to have a nominee, somebody that we can build a really enduring relationship with over time, somebody who will be our point of contact, both at the point of inspection and between inspections. We believe that the toolkits we're creating will really enable all education providers on their improvement journey between inspections and also at the point of inspections. So we're basing our renewed framework on professional standards and some of those legal expectations that are out there for the providers that we inspect.
So these new toolkits, can you tell us a little bit more about what they are?
Yes, so the toolkits, they're a collection of evaluation areas and they explain in very accessible language the standards that we will be looking at when we inspect a provider. The toolkits themselves are based on the statutory and professional standards that we know providers are very familiar with, and we want to make sure that what we're not doing is adding further burden to providers by making them do something extra for Ofsted.
I can see that each evaluation area is divided into 5 columns, and the middle column is called secure. Can you tell me a little bit more about what we mean by secure?
This is where we expect the vast majority of providers to be. It sets out those professional standards and those non-statutory areas that we would expect all providers to adhere to. And they're where the inspection will begin. So we'll start by talking to leaders about the secure column. And then if we find that a provider is secure, then we will start to look at some of the standards in this strong section. Or if we actually can't see that a provider is secure, then we will start to think about perhaps some of the areas where attention might be needed.
We've got the Registered Early Years Toolkit in front of us, and we're looking at one of the evaluation areas about developing teaching. Can you just explain how some of this works?
Absolutely, Lee. So this one we've got in front of us is the early years, but there are similar toolkits for schools, for further education and skills, for initial teacher education, for independent schools. So they're bespoke, and we really hope that they will be in the language of the specific sectors that we inspect. Now, each one has a number of evaluation areas, and you can see on the one you're looking at, this one is developing teaching. Across the top, you can see there are the names of the grades. So they start with causing concern, and then they run across left to right from attention needed to secure, strong and exemplary. Within each evaluation area, you will also see that there are themes. So on the one you're looking at, it says leadership of teaching, professional development, etc. And they go down through. And each one starts with leadership of that area, and then at the end there will be the theme of inclusion, which is what we said runs through all of the toolkits. They are accessible in terms of the language of the statements within it, but you can see there's quite a lot of detail there, Lee, and so we've made the decision to actually publish all of the toolkits across all of the remits with the consultations, so that people in the sectors, people who are interested, can actually read and find out a little bit more about it.
That's been a really useful summary. Thank you, Helen. How do you intend these being used on inspection?
So the first thing to say is that the toolkits are not prescriptive. We certainly wouldn't expect anyone to go through them line by line with an inspector. They really are a starting point for that professional dialogue that we're trying to encourage between the provider and our inspectors. And so this one is developing teaching, and the idea would be that I would meet with those leaders who are responsible for developing teaching within the provision. What we're really interested in is how well leaders understand the quality of teaching within their provision and some of the things that they've put in place. So that might be their professional development programme or support that they've given to particular departments. And that's really important at the beginning of this professional dialogue, that the inspector understands what the leader has quality assured within their own setting, because clearly leaders know their settings much better than inspectors. From there, what we would do is we would actually go to see what that looks like on the ground, and that might be a learning walk to particular areas of the provider. It might be talking to members of staff who've been through a professional development programme. It might be talking to groups of learners or pupils to see the impact of leaders' actions on what they get day to day as part of their provision.
I hope you all found that useful. If you have thoughts about what you heard or saw, or simply want to find out more, then please take part in the consultation. Your input can and will make a real difference. It's open now, and you can find it on our website. There are sections on our proposed toolkits, our new report cards, our methodology, and much, much more. You can respond to all of them, some of them, or just one if you like, so please let us know your thoughts. Thank you.